Hello, everybody. Welcome to Coffee, Tea, You and Me. This is got to be probably about the 120th episode. We've been doing this show every Friday since COVID started. And we started taping before COVID started when I was meeting at Panera Bread with entrepreneurs every day and every Friday. And every Friday I would sit down with business leaders, entrepreneurs, consultants, sales professionals of all types, and teaching them the art and the science of networking. When you learn how to network, what you learn how to do is you learn how to build strategic relationships with professionals way before you need them. It's a critically important skill to develop. And a part of developing that skill is what we're going to talk about today. Today's specific topic is one of the second part of what I call the 5 elements of perfect presentation. The first element we talked about last week, and you can please go back and read last week's show if you want to check it out. Last week's show was about impact. We talked about why it's important that you have impact in everything that you do, everything you say, whenever you open your mouth, whenever you speak, whenever you share information with somebody, it has to be meaningful. It has to be relevant. It has to have impact, because if it doesn't, then you're not going to get their attention. Today's topic is super important. This is the second element of the 5 elements of perfect presentation. It's all about drama. Why is drama important to bring into anything that you're going to do or say? If you don't bring the drama, you're not going to be able to have people not just to get their attention, but they're not going to remember you. They're not going to remember what you had to say. They're not going to remember who you are. They're going to remember what's special about your offering, whatever it is that you're trying to do. If you don't bring the drama, it's not sticky enough. And there's all kinds of neuroscience behind this, and all kinds of information I'm going to share with you that's going to come from all the research. And I'm going to share you the links with stuff. I'm going to give you tons of research, tons of homework, tons of things that you can do. So sharpen your pencils, get ready. And by the way, if you haven't already subscribed to my channel on YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, please do so. I'm going to post all that kind of information for you, but don't wait for me. Go on out, if you're watching the show already, then you're already in a position where you can hit the subscribe button. You can already go ahead and let us know that, what you're thinking. And I want to make sure that everybody in the studio audience gets sort of the rules of the game here. This is an entrepreneur show for entrepreneurs. I expect you, if you are on this show, to share what you have. So if you got an idea, a concept, something you want people to get to know you for, put it in the chat. If you have a question, put it in the chat. If you have an amen, attaboy, way to go, discussion, put that information in the chat. If I can, I'll give you a shout out and let people know who you are, where you're coming from, and all that kind of stuff. So definitely let me know the name of your business, where you're coming from in the chat, anything like that. I'm going to introduce you in a few minutes to some superchargers. I mean, these 2 young men that I'm bringing to the table today, I can't say enough about how impressed I am with what they're bringing to the table and what they do for people. I mean, they're just tremendously talented, tremendously gifted individuals. And I'm glad that they're spending some time with us today. They're going to be on the panel. I'm going to let them introduce themselves in just a few minutes. But they're just phenomenal. So if you haven't, you want to get ready again, sharpen your pencils, bring your pens out, get your pens and paper, and get ready to write, because we're going to really expose a lot of information for you. A lot of stuff I'm going to put in the chat box for you to download for yourself, so you can do anything you want to do with it, starting with the 5 elements of perfect presentation. I'm going to go ahead and pop that in the chat right now. That way we can make sure that you have access to it. And you'll be able to see that on Facebook. You'll be able to see it on LinkedIn. You'll be able to see it on YouTube. And so go ahead and download that if you want to. Keep it on your computer. This is an award-winning program. I have done the 5 elements of perfect presentation all over the country with audiences everywhere. And usually it costs thousands of dollars for you to get access to it. But I'm giving it to you guys for free today. You can do whatever you want to do with it. Telling somebody you wrote it yourself. I don't even care. It doesn't matter to me. It's out there in the universe, and it's something that I think is going to be meaningful for you. If you want to come out to the drama section, That's going to help you kind of stay in front of some of the conversations we're having today. But again, I'm not going to read any of that boring stuff to you. I'm not going to, you can read it on your own. You don't need me to read to you. But I'm going to tell you my experience with some of the aspects of drama and how we've been able to use drama to do things in the past when it comes to developing meaningful, powerful relationships. So right now, what we're going to do is we're going to start to introduce our special guest to you. And it looks like Gerald is ready. And so he's backstage, he's chomping at the bit. Wave at the folks, Gerald. They can't see you anyway, don't worry about it. But I can see you, so go ahead and wave. Let me know you're paying attention. He's smiling, so he's ready to go. That's awesome. That's awesome. And let me go ahead and bring on Gerald. Before I do that, let me tell you a little bit something about this young man. First of all, Gerald's a marketing genius. Let's just start with that. He's a marketing genius. If you got some ideas about how you want to develop your business and you want to get it out there and get the word out there, get the strategy out there together, I don't think that you're going to find a better person who has been in the game for as long as he's been in the game and doing so many good things for so many people that you got to go with Gerald. And so I'm going to let him tell you a little bit more about himself. And here he is. How's it going, Gerald?
Doing great, Marvin. Doing great.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Tell the folks all about yourself, man.
Perfect. So yeah, my name is Gerald Bass. I actually reside in Atlanta, Georgia. I have a company called The Rise of the 1%. We've been around about 5 years now. We actually started off as a digital marketing agency, servicing service-based businesses like financial service businesses at one time. We even helped some travel agencies and stuff like that with basically putting systems in place online to be able to generate leads and get clients consistently and predictably on the internet. And we set up and ran paid advertisement campaigns via social media for some years for those type of businesses. Now our main focus is working with Black coaches, consultants, course creators, service-based businesses, like I say, financial service-based businesses, even some digital marketing agencies we work with now, with putting systems in place online to pack their calendar with appointments on a weekly basis online and being able to grow those different business owners that may be in the $2,000 to $10,000 a month range that want to grow and scale to $20,000 to $50,000 a month plus on the internet. And we even able to help many of our clients with doing this without any paid advertisement with some of the strategies we're implementing today in the beginning stages. So that's primarily what we do. And what I'm going to share with you all as well is if you want a little bit more information on what we do, I actually have a free training online. I have Marvin posted up. It's a case study where I actually share with you how to pretty much scale your coaching business, consulting business, or if you have a course, or like I said, a service-based business like financial services, digital marketing agency, what have you, how to scale it to $20,000 to $50,000 a month without paid ads in under 60 days or less. And I actually have Marvin actually post that link up when he gets a chance. You can get access to the case study. But yeah, that's pretty much what we do. And now we are pretty much focusing mainly on consulting and business strategy when it comes to our clients. So that's what we do.
That is outstanding. You know, in my organization called the Roundtable, of which our next guest is a part of, as one of the newest members, is one of the things we believe in more than important than anything else is collaboration, encouragement, and communication. So I'm going to ask you a quick question, Gerald, just to let people know a little insight into you. Of those three things, collaboration, encouragement, and communication, which one do you feel is most valuable to you right now in what you do?
Say collaboration, and the second one more time.
Encouragement and communication.
Right now, for me, is collaboration.
Why do you say collaboration?
Right now, I mean, for me, because I'm focusing on building those strategic partnerships with individuals, and we're building our team up and all that type of stuff right now. And so I believe that's why I said collaboration at this time.
That's outstanding. That's outstanding. When you think about it, is there any specific kind of talent that you really, really, really like to work with right now that will really help enhance whatever it is you're doing?
Yeah, so right now we're actually looking for more salespeople right
Got
now
it.
for our business. Yeah, we're
Yeah,
building our sales team right now. So yeah,
that
that's what we're looking for.
that's critically important. So you guys heard it out there. And you guys are business development or sales professionals. You got some ideas. You got something you want to bring to the table for my boy. You know how to find him now, right? I've introduced you. So that's just a great thing. Thank you so very much, Gerald. I'm going to bring you right back in just a minute. I got to bring up my next boy. Oh my God. I can't even say enough about this young gentleman. I'm so excited about him. He's asked me to be on his advisory council. And I have said yes. And I don't say yes to very, very many people when it comes to that kind of stuff, because you're talking about work right now. But this is work I'm going to love doing. I'm going to love putting them in front of some of the key professionals out there that are going to be able to hear some of the things he's saying. One of the things that's important about what Kelvin does is he's helping people to understand the value of even being a renter. And he's helping to pair renters with owners in commercial properties in a way that's going to create equity and entrepreneurship and value for everybody involved in the situation in a magical way. And when you get a chance to understand where he's coming from, you're going to get exactly what I'm talking about. I just want you to imagine paying rent, but in your paying rent, being able to build equity without having to own the property. I'm gonna let that cook in your noodle for a minute, and then I'm gonna introduce to you one of my favorite financial advisors, financial consultants, financial guru, genius, whatever you want to call him. He is right here with us today in the studio audience, and I'm so glad he's a part of our panel, Mr. Kelvin T. Cook.
Marvin, thank you. I appreciate the introduction. That was amazing. I appreciate that.
So tell the folks about you, man. Tell them what you do.
For sure. Listen, I'm a little bit of a nerd, a tech geek, right? But it's funny because my history is in financial services. My career started out, wanting to help people succeed financially. It's really turned into a life mission of mine. And when I learned about blockchain tech and cryptocurrency, mainly because a bunch of people were dumping money into something seemingly made out of thin air, I had to understand why. And then once I understood why, I needed to kind of mold that and make it fit my purpose and my mission, which is helping people succeed financially. So, Marvin, you hit it right on the head. What I'm building is a blockchain-based loyalty platform. A loyalty platform because we all know what they do. As businesses, we know that it's cheaper to keep an existing customer than it is to find a new customer. As consumers, we get rewarded for doing what we were going to do anyway. In this particular case, I'm turning the largest expense in many households across America, 109 million at least to be exact, and turning that largest expense into somewhat of a savings account. And guess what? It's not equity in that property, mainly because it's kind of hard to get to. When you think about a home equity loan or a mortgage, you have to go through an approval process to get access to that equity, right? But through this loyalty platform, you as a renter get the opportunity to earn an asset that can appreciate in value and it's liquid so that you can have access to that all important capital. You can avoid predatory lending. We can start to close the wealth gap in America. And I don't say that lightly, because if you go and look on any coinmarket.com or any type of digital cryptocurrency tracking solution out there that's online, you'll see why the fact that cryptocurrency is the fastest growing asset class in world history. So it's important that even the renters, the people who may or may not be living paycheck to paycheck or have decided that they don't want to own a home, have access to this class of this new asset class, because 10 years from now, 20 years from now, when we're looking at a whole heap of new billionaires and trillionaires, they'll be able to look back at Hoof Financial, and the Hoof It Rewards platform is one of the main reasons who made it the main sources that made it simple and easy to get access to this new breaking rewarding technology that really is going to be decentralized finance is coming. It's only a matter of time. And the big banks and large institutions shouldn't be the only ones who have access to this asset class. So I'm making sure that we're all included in that process. And this whole platform, this whole thing, like I said, it's my life's mission because I come from public housing, right? I come from not having anything. I come from where all of the people that I cared about most in life all had financial problems. So when I was unable to affect change from inside the banking industry, I decided to figure out how to do it from outside the banking industry and not take no for an answer. It took a whole lot of grit. And, you know, it took a whole lot of perseverance, you know, and a whole lot of creativity to come up with this solution. But I'm so happy I was able to stick it out by the grace of God and come up with this solution that's now, it's only a matter of time before we take off, because it's going to help beyond what it's going to do for me or me personally and my family. More importantly, it's going to help millions of people in this country who are either in bad financial situations or would like to be in better financial situations, take advantage of and not be left behind, because cryptocurrency today is what email was in 1998. If anybody tells you anything different, they're lying to you, and they're trying to keep you out of the loop so that they can capture all the gains. I'm not going to let that happen. I'm here for you. I got your back. That's me. Sorry, I can be long-winded. I'm passionate about this.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Well, first of all, I owe you an apology, and I owe Gerald an apology because I was supposed to post Gerald's information up, and I ended up posting your information up in front of Gerald's information. And so what I'll do now is I'll make sure I post Gerald's information. This what you're seeing on the screen right now. This is for Kelvin, but what I'm about to post in a couple seconds is for Gerald. If I can get it right. Give me just a second, and I will get my act together, gentlemen. I do apologize. Where did it go? Lord Jesus, help me. You know what? It takes a village. Yeah. Sometimes I'm not in the village. Here it is. I got you now, Gerald. Here we go. I'm cutting, copying, and pasting too much stuff simultaneously and making myself crazy. All right, so we posted it in the chat first. There he is, and there we go, and there he is. Okay, so that's how you get in front of Gerald. You both are absolutely amazing, and I super appreciate you spending the time with us. Today we're going to talk about drama, you know, and why drama is important to bring every time you open your mouth, every time you share anything with anybody, anywhere. Now, I've done tons of research and tons of skill building on this, and it's very, very important. We tell all of our roundtable members, this is a network that I built, and Kelvin has had a chance to visit us. He's going to be one of our members. One of the network that I built, and one of the things we teach our members is you can't waste people's time when you've got the stage. When you've got the opportunity to be in front of people, you've got to take it. You know, you got to own it, and you got to do the things and say the things that are going to make the time and space that people are willing to share with you meaningful right off the bat. So we started off talking about impact. The second piece is drama. And that's what we're going to talk about now. So what I'm going to do with you two, I'm going to put you backstage for a little bit. You guys, please listen, you know, pay attention, whatever, because there might be some questions I might throw at you. And if it's something that, by the way, if it's something that if you got something that's burning in your mind, you want to talk about, you want to share, just raise your hand, because I'll see you backstage and I'll bring you up and we'll have that discussion. If anybody has anything to add to the chat, feel free to do so. And then when we finish the talk, and give me about 20 minutes on that one. When we finish talking about this, because I want to make it short and sweet, I want to answer any questions that anybody may have. You can ask questions from Gerald, you can ask questions to Kelvin, you can ask questions to me, but we'll make sure you get the answers, so you shouldn't leave here without answers to your questions. And by the way, if you're watching this from a position of I'm just checking out the recording later on, you can still interact with us. Put your information in the chat, and we'll get back with you. Either I'll get back with you for sure, or maybe even one of the gentlemen that are on the panel today will let you know as well. They might discuss this stuff with you as well. But don't feel free that, we want you to be engaged. We want you to be all in. We want you to be excited about this, because this is a rare opportunity you have to meet with all three of the gentlemen that are on screen today and talk to them about whatever you want to talk to them about. So let's let it happen. Okay. Hold on just a second, guys. I'll be right back with you. All right, so today we're talking about drama, and I got to share with you, there's a lot of neuroscience that going to go into what I am sharing with you right now. And the two neurological based chemicals that are important to recognize whenever you're giving a presentation, whenever you're talking to someone, whenever you're telling a story, and you should always be telling a story, is a couple things. You got oxytocin and you got dopamine. Oxytocin is really, really good. Dopamine is good sometimes. And it really depends on how you tell the stories or what you're doing with them. Let me tell you what oxytocin does in your brain. Oxytocin is what we call the feel-good hormone. It is the thing that gets people excited. It's the thing that gets people to fall in love. It gets people to want to be intimate, want to connect, want to share more of who they are, because they feel safe. They feel taken care of. They feel nurtured. If you are able to produce in anything you do or say those feelings where people are their brain is actually producing the hormone oxytocin, then what's going to happen is they're going to transfer that energy, that feel good energy, right back to you. And that's going to matter a lot in terms of not just you feeling like you are talking to a place or being in a space where you belong, but it's going to matter for them to feel like they are engaged and they're not wasting their time, and they're doing something that's meaningful and powerful for them. Yes, this is all emotional stuff. Facts don't matter here. We're talking about emotions. Now, there's a mantra I like to share with people all the time when I'm helping them prepare presentations or how to be a better presenter. And that mantra is this: benefits compel, stories sell, and facts tell. If you present in that order, here are the benefits. And benefits are what happens after the hero in your story does his daring do. Whatever the hero is and whatever the story is, I'm gonna advise you real carefully, real clearly. Hopefully you'll get this over the series of weeks. You are not the hero in any story that you tell. You are going to create a protagonist. You are going to create a fictitious persona that you're telling the story about. Because here's why. If the story is about you and how wonderful you are and how great you were and how many problems you solved, then that can become unbelievable if the story is received by somebody else as too fantastical. It's like when you're tooting your own horn, nobody wants to hear you do it. But when somebody else is tooting your horn, everybody wants to hear what you have to say and what you want to do. So you have to make sure that the stories you tell are representative of necessarily what you do or how you do it, but not you doing the work, or not you making the tough decisions, or you being able to, facilitate it, whatever. You have to share the benefits of what you do clearly, but the protagonist needs to experience those benefits because they were smart enough to make the choice to choose you, because they worked diligently and hard enough to feel comfortable with making the decision to work with your brand. It's very, very important, or accept your idea. It's very, very important. The stories that you tell is not about you. It's about the people who were smart enough, wise enough, talented enough, gifted enough, blessed enough to make the decision. And the journey for them in that decision is what people want to know. That's the drama we're talking about. What is the journey of the decision-making process that a person has to make before they choose you, right? Because you are going to be the Lone Ranger, right? Your job is to come in and save the day. That's your job. So if you think about it, you're not the hero in the story. It's the person who made the decision to work with you. That's the hero in the story. And that's how you get that oxytocin feeling going. People are going to start to feel and connect it to that hero. And they're going to feel good about the hero. They're going to feel good about the person who's telling the story, which should be you. And that's how they're going to fall in love with you, by falling in love with the story that you tell. And that's pretty important when it comes to that. Dopamine is the other thing. Every story has, if it's done well, has a dopamine effect on our brains. And dopamine is awful addictive to human beings. In fact, there's a reason why we call it dopamine, right? There's an effect in your brain when you fall in love, when you start to really focus your attention, you feel excited, your heartbeat starts to go, everything starts to work differently, and it's almost a bodily experience when that dopamine starts to rush. Like, let me give you an example. If you see something happen and you have to run, right? If you see something going on and it makes you want to run, the first thing that happens is the dopamine is emitted from your brain. Your brain response is that something's going on, something I got to react to. Dopamine hits your brain, says all of a sudden your heart starts to race, and you are now prepared with more oxygen in your bloodstream to take off running. You absolutely focus on what the danger is, and you're absolutely focused on what you got to do to escape that danger. That's what dopamine does. But it also, I want you to think about this, it also focuses your attention, like a sad story. A sad story about somebody who you feel connected to is going to make you have a dopamine effect as well. You're going to feel emotionally drawn in. You're going to feel emotionally connected to whatever's going on, the protagonist of the story you want people to fall in love with. So that's why we use drama to make people then open up their mind and really pay attention. So I've discovered at least 17 different ways that you can use drama in a story whenever you're telling a story, whenever you are sharing any information with anybody about anything, even if you only have 60 seconds to introduce yourself or what it is that you do, you have enough time to tell a really, really powerful, passionate story. So if you follow all the 5 steps, you're going to really learn how to do that. There's some exercises in there where I would hope that you would check out at some point in time. Don't do it today, because right now we're talking about drama. And just listen to what I'm going to share with you and think for yourself. Have you ever experienced this? So here's what drama does. And I'm going to tell you where I got this information from after I tell you the information. And so because I don't want you, going and run around and going, oh, Marvin said this and Marvin said that, blah, 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 blah. Here it is. Drama is how we've established the world that we're in right now, and how we will establish the world of our future. In fact, everything we've learned in a deep, meaningful way, we've learned through some kind of experience of drama. Sometimes that drama is actually trauma. And sometimes that drama is actually something that left us in good feelings and good strategy. If you think about the things that you remember the best, you're going to remember stuff, not that you forced your memory by repeating it over and over and over again. You forced your memory by experiencing something. The pain, the anguish, the agony, the frustration, the deep concentration, whatever it is you experienced, allowed your brain to create what you needed to create in order to improve your memory. And usually that came through some semblance of drama. So drama established the world you're in right now, and it will establish the world of your future if you know how to use it correctly. Second thing, drama creates hope. Because anytime you've ever experienced a situation where there was drama, right, sometimes it's bad news. Sometimes it's bad news, and you're looking for a resolution. Everybody's looking for a resolution. There's something going on, something bad, something's happening, whatever. It's attractive, it's sticky, it's got your attention, and you're looking to figure out, what's going to happen, because your hope is already there that something positive will happen as a result of experiencing what you're experiencing. If somebody's telling you a story, and it happens even when you watch a fantastical story like Star Wars, right? When you see that, all that imagery, everything going on, something bad is happening, somebody's fighting, somebody's going to crush the other side, and it looks like it's going to be over. And then, oh, look, somebody saves the day. Something interesting happens that turns the tide. Something that creates the momentum in a different direction than it was originally presented, right? So drama, in a way, by sharing all the tragedy, all the danger, all the horror, at the same time, simultaneously creates hope. Because we always know we've lived ourselves through drama. And even if we're experiencing it in the form of a story, we know that the person who's experiencing this story probably is going to live through it too. Or at least we're interested enough to find out what happens. Now, there needs to be a happy ending to the dramas that you share. right? Whatever you're doing, you need to have a happy ending, because what you want is that dopamine, right? The fear, the focus, all the stuff that makes us go, ooh, we got to pay attention. You want that dopamine to happen because you want that emotional response, but then you also want that oxytocin to happen. In order to make that oxytocin happen, things have to have a happy ending. Things have to work out in the end, right? And if they don't work out in the end, what you got is a horror story, not a good drama. You know, a horror is all bad news all the time, and it ends with bad news, right? So you want to make sure that the stories that you tell, the drama that you share, whatever presentation you're sharing, whatever, however you're doing it, you're using that process. Remember, benefits compel, stories sell, facts tell. The facts don't matter until the end. Now is when the credits roll, right? Whenever you want it, whenever after everything is magical, everything has happened. Now you want to know who did that and what was that all about? Where did that come from? Now you're getting the credits because you want to know. You're going to get people who really saw that. That's when you tell the people the facts of what it is you have to say. The facts don't matter. Who you are doesn't matter. Where your company is doesn't matter. What you come from, none of that matters until you've already opened them up emotionally and share what you need to share. The last thing, the next thing I want to share with you is drama builds dependability and trust. If you tell great stories all the time, people will love just being around you. They're going to trust you more. You can't help it. When you fall in love with somebody, you can't help but trust them to a certain extent. Now, you obviously you're not going to get full trust immediately from everybody, but you're going to get more trust if you tell a good story that they can remember, they can connect to, that they feel comfortable with, than if you don't. If you just tell them a whole bunch of facts and features and figures and so on and so forth, and you talk like a robot and you talk like an accountant or some other, non-human person, not that accountants are non-humans, but they do have some challenges with relating to the rest of the world, as well as my engineers and my doctors and my lawyers, all of us, who are professionals in anything we do. Once we start learning the language of our world, we can't help but drip it on other people. And so my job is to help people, break people out of that structure, whatever their mind is that your profession gave you, whether it's marketing language or financial language or computer language or whatever that is. My job is to help you speak human so that you can relate and compete and be compelling to others who need to understand what you're saying so that they can repeat it to other people. That's how you go viral, right? You can't use complicated language and hope to go viral. That's not going to work. So it also shapes the culture. Drama is a great thing for the culture to be shaped. In fact, if you think about it, all the children that everybody learns best through storytelling. In fact, that's what we did before we could read. We told stories. And we did it in childhood. We did it in early forms of humanity. No matter where we were, we told stories. That's how we transferred information, even complicated information, person to person, for billions of years before we even began to write or draw pictures or illustrations. We told stories. So that's originally a part of our DNA. Why would you deny it? Why would you go, oh, I'm not going to tell a story? Because I'm telling you, if you don't want to tell stories, you don't want to be remembered. You don't want to be heard. You don't want to be accepted. You don't want to be understood. You don't even want people to feel you. And if you want any of that stuff, you want to be an influential person, you become masterful at telling stories. And drama is a part of how you tell a story all the time, and you do it really well. There's so many other things that you could share with drama. It's about purposeful design, right? You got to practice what you're going to say before you say it. You got to spend some time with it, wrestling with the information, or you're going to come off as a person that doesn't know what they're talking about. You're going to come off as a person who's afraid, a person who is unsure. If you haven't done your homework, you haven't done your research, you don't know what you're talking about, or you haven't practiced it well enough in order for you to even be passionate about it. And then passionate about sharing it with the right people, then you're not going to be able to design anything on purpose. Because what you want is you want to touch people in their emotional cords so well that they feel, and then you want to open them up. Once they're in a feeling moment, you want to be able to implant something in them that's going to allow them to take action. Because if they don't take action, they're just feelings. That's wonderful. Feelings are great, but feelings that don't lead to action when it comes to your presentation or anything that you want to do, kind of a waste of time. Again, it feels good. It's entertainment. It's distracting. And it's a moment, but it's a moment that, you're going to have to come back and pay and do again, instead of taking action and experiencing something for yourself that makes it happen. So you want to do that. You want to give people, you want to purposely design action-based steps in whatever you want to share with people. It's very, very important. If you don't tell people what you want them to do with whatever it is that they're doing, then they won't know what's meaningful. They won't know what's powerful. They won't know what's relevant, not even to you. And I would go so far as to say you need to tell them what to do and why it's important to you that they do it, and also what could be valuable to them about what you're asking them to do. Because if you don't share that information, again, you don't know the benefits of your own product or service. You don't know the benefit of you in your own existence. And if you can't share it with them, of course you don't say anything about it because you don't know what it is. You know something about it. Maybe you know you're doing something, but you don't know how special it is until somebody tells you, until somebody shares with you. And that's the first thing you should share. Let me tell you a story. Here's a client of mine. When I first started to talk to them about how to impact and create tremendous, powerful presentations by just using stories, they didn't believe me. I said, okay, don't believe me. Just test it out, just on a small basis in one area. And I thought, okay, who is somebody that you really want to impress? He said, my 15-year-old. You know how hard it is to impress a teenager. I said, okay, here's what you're going to do. I want you to pay attention to what he's doing for about a month. Just pay attention to what he's doing, pay attention to where he's going, ask him questions about who he is, what he feels like, so on and so forth. And he's going to give you all the information that you need to give him so that when you tell a compelling story about somebody who was just like him and how that person came out of that situation into a different situation, it's going to feel so real and so authentic. He's going to feel it and he's going to change his behavior. Go ahead and try it. He did it. And his 15-year-old teenager went from being an okay student to an honor roll student, because they told him a great story about another teenager who did the same thing. Now, the story wasn't true, but every element of the story was true. And that's what's important, because the kid could experience the elements of the story without having to experience in real time the same experiences. And he understood how to, now he understood he was equipped with information that would help him figure out how to do what to do with his experiences that he was already having. And it came to him in a story format that he could remember and apply. Stories change lives. Stories create opportunities, right? So very, very important. Use it for purposeful design. Number 6, speak the truth. Drama can be used to speak the truth, and it can speak the truth first and always. If you use the drama to expose what is really, really, really going on, so people can see it from everybody's perspective. Now, all of a sudden, you're using diversity and equity and inclusion, all those wonderful strategies. You're using it in a story format that everybody can see themselves in it. There's nothing more true than that. And people feel like it's about them. They feel authentic in it. They feel special in it. And it makes their heart sing. It makes them fall in love with the storyteller for sure, the actors on stage for sure, whoever is presenting the information for sure. And it's going to help them move to action, positive action. That's going to make a big difference in the world and in the communities that they participate in. The next thing drama does is it helps you share practices and continuous learning. That's how we do. Storytelling is something that we've always done in human beings. We've always shared practices. We've always continued to learn through those practices. It allows us to be vulnerable in a safe way, because you can share experiences and feelings and ideas and concepts in a story that you cannot share in any other way. And in sharing those feelings, you're helping people have those feelings. And in those feelings, they create what we call the emotional resume that they think about and can link back to. Other things that drama does is it helps you develop higher thinking and higher thoughts in people, right? So you need your people to do the best, to be the best. Tell them greater stories. Tell them stories of people like them who did amazing things, and they're going to feel great about the possibilities and potential that they have. You want to produce or destroy life, you can do it with drama. People will give up or dig in and engage even more if you bring the right stories to them. They can captivate or it can distract, and you want to make sure that you're using drama in the right way, because sometimes a distraction is good to bring people out of the misery or the sadness or what's the new term that I hearing all the time? People are overworked and overwhelmed, right? How do you get them out of that and to focus on something that they can do? You got to give them a story, something that's going to break them from the cycle of the trauma and the things that they're working with, and help them focus on something else. It might be a distraction, yes, but it's also an opportunity to captivate them and help them see things in a different way, or try a new thing that they wouldn't actually try if you hadn't brought them such a wonderful presentation. And there are many, many things that drama can do. When you do it well, when you share it well, there are so many things and so many compelling ways that drama can lift up the human spirit and guide and move and help people, help you to influence people in a way that's going to be good for everybody. Now, I have to warn you, though, everything I share with you all, everything I talk to you all about, can be used for two things. It can be used for manipulation, or it can be used for influence. And guess what? The only difference between those two things and those two ideas is your intent. I hope that you intend to do things that are moral. I hope that you intend to do things that are magnificent and great for everybody involved, including yourself, because you need to be in this. But don't use any of it to destroy, to manipulate, to bully anybody else, because you can easily do it that way too. All right, so I'm going to move down to our panel discussion. Guys, is there anybody, anything that we heard that we talked about, that you heard that hit you, right in your brain bucket and your heart muscle, and you got to share it with anybody? Anything at all?
I have to go with the intent piece. It's really the last thing that you said, right? I personally, I live by the golden rule, right? Treat others like you want to be treated, right? And then there's many different iterations of that same saying. And, it hurts me, to see people when they share stories and they, share these different things that they're doing. And, at the end of the day, I can easily tell that they're trying to manipulate people, because I, like you, like to study psychology, so I can see it and I try to protect people, from it as much as I can. But, it's the truth. I give you a prime example, really quick story. A friend of mine, their parent was going through a COVID scare, was in a coma for, 3 months. And, I'm sitting there. I just happened to be over, his house when, they got the phone call from the staff at the hospital, and they're sharing and they're talking to the family and saying things like, building up this nice story about, how was this person, how was this person when they were alive? Did they do this? They were family people. They loved being outdoors, enjoyed life, yada, yada, yada. And then they asked the question, how would that person feel about never being the same again if they never recovered from COVID? Immediately, because I'm not emotionally involved like my friend was, I knew what was going on. They're protecting their profits. This insurance company doesn't want to pay out to continue to resuscitate this person, right? But because they were emotionally involved, I'm not sure if they caught it. So I had to tap my friend and say, hey, put it on mute. Listen, I get it. This is what you kind of want to be careful of. You want to make sure you say the words he would want to live, right? Make sure you say that, because they're trying to build a case for not resuscitating him the next time. So just, when, people, they tell these stories, they build out these stories, and they could try to take advantage of you, again, if you're not in the right frame of mind or you don't happen to catch it, you could really be taken advantage of. And I will never let anybody that I care about, get taken advantage of like that. So intent matters for sure.
That is for sure. And like I told you, in the presentation earlier, you definitely want to hit people in the feels, right? Because they're going to make a logical decision, yes, but they're going to make a logical decision based on an emotional strategy right up front. And it's going to feel like it's the smart decision at the time, and it might very well not be the smart decision,
right?
But it's going to be the logical decision that works for you because of your emotions in the moment.
Absolutely.
It's a very powerful tool if you know how to regulate and use people's emotions. And when you don't get that, and it's in the hands of an evil person,
right?
It can be disastrous to a family, to a person, or whatever that is, because they're going to get manipulated and not know they're being manipulated.
Absolutely. And just one last thing, even in the business sense, right? Especially when you're in sales, you could cut down dramatically on the amount of buyer's remorse returns if you're just honest with people and allow them to make like logical decisions that are truly good for them when they're trying to make their buyer decision. It's fool's gold to make a large sale to someone only for them to return it the next day or a week later because they now don't understand the true value that this product or service adds to their life or their business, right? It's fool's gold. So just do the right thing up front and build the value and make sure that your customer truly understands, and you'll cut down on a lot of the returns, and you'll build some lifelong customers. So that's kind of what my last 2 cents about intent when you're telling stories to accomplish.
That's fantastic. You have any thoughts here, Gerald?
Yeah, so I mean, I definitely agree with what Kevin was saying in terms of the intent, in terms of being ethical with how you use stories. One thing I would say in terms of business, one thing I work with a lot of my clients with is their sales process. And in terms of utilizing stories, the way that we normally train many of our clients on that in the sales process is, when you have prospects at times that ask you a lot about the deliverables in terms of what you may be delivering in terms of the product or service, instead of going so deep on all the deliverables of your particular product or service, share a story of a client that actually utilized your particular product or service and actually got results from it. Relate to them, but make sure it's an actual, real, genuine story, not just making up a story. And a lot of times that moves prospects to become buyers that you can impact and that you can serve.
Absolutely, every time. It's funny because when I first started coaching, this is 20 years ago, I thought, well, I'm gonna have to start slow, and I'm gonna have to start small, and I'm gonna have to, get what I could get for the time being, and that turned out to be the worst thing I could tell myself, because I was coming from that mentality suggested that you got to prove yourself before you have any value. Mm-hmm. I was like, time out. I already know I'm great. Right. But what I have to do is try to convince other people that I'm great. And what I need to do is to get other people to tell other people that I'm great. Because other people can say wonderful things about me that I can't say about myself.
Right.
Without sounding like an idiot, right? And so I began to tell people, listen, but even before I work with them, I would tell them, listen, before you and I get together and we decide we're going to work together, I want you to get a couple of things really, really straight right off the bat. What I'm going to do for you is it's going to be more valuable to you than it is to me. And I'm going to prove that to you. But here's what's really valuable to me. I need to make sure that you don't keep me a secret. In fact, I need to make sure that you love me so much that you're willing to tell your boss's boss about me and run the risk that something might happen. So I want to make sure I prove to you that nothing negative is going to happen or nothing bad is going to happen to you in this process, because I want you to be able to introduce me to the most impressive people that you could think of in your network. And if we can agree to do that, I will agree to bring everything to the table, to be the best I possibly can be, to make everything work the way you want it to work. Fair enough? And people would see right off the bat what's in it for me. What am I actually working for? Because the little commission dollars didn't really mean nothing to me. What I really wanted was to make higher and higher and higher commission dollars, and I can only do that with bigger and bigger and bigger clients. And the first time I told that same situation to a person in the coaching business, they referred me so far up the chain that I had to go into commercial business in order to really solve the problem, and I did. It's a huge commercial contract. I'm still working with customers at that level, and that was one of my first client stories. It's like, how do you do this? You can make a leapfrog into whatever you want to make a leapfrog if you're talking to the right people in the right way about the right thing. But if you're talking to everybody about nothing, really, it might be valuable to you, but if it's not valuable to them, then it's impossible to win their hearts. It's impossible to get them to go on a limb for you and say that somebody, I don't want to just be on the list of referred possibles. I want to be the only one on the list. So someone says, I'll put you on my preferred vendor list. My next question is, how can I be the only person on your preferred vendor list? What do I need to do to prove to you that I'm worthy of being the one that you refer? I'm going to ask that tough question because that's ultimately what I want. Why not ask for it right up front? My daughter taught me that. You know, she's like, I don't know where she got it from, but she taught me this phrase called "closed mouths don't get fed." Never heard it before. And that's why I really know my young people. I love them to death because I can learn a lot from them. I just have to pay attention. And I was like, well, so what do you mean by that, sweetie? She said, listen, you got to ask for what you want. I said, I knew that one. But I didn't know that closed mouths don't get fed. And that is critically important. You know, when you're working with people, you're telling stories, you're doing whatever you need to do, you need to make sure that you're injecting in the story what's in it for you. How does the value work for you? Because if they don't, this is something I share with people all the time. There's another fact that we all want to be meaningful. We all want to be relevant. We all want to be significant. There is no human being on the planet that want these things. The problem with these things are you really don't know that you've done any of that stuff until someone says to you, you know what you said to me, Gerald, that other day? That was so powerful. That was so amazing. You know, Kelvin, that last time we worked together, I had such a great time. It was so important to me. Thank you so much for that. So somebody shares with you the benefit that they've experienced after you've done whatever you're doing. You don't know. You're guessing. I mean, you can give yourself a pat on the back and say, you know, I'm great. I'm wonderful. I'm talented. All that kind of stuff. You can do that all day. But when is it true? How many people have to tell you before it's actually real? You know, I think that's important. I think that's important for us all. It's important for anybody in the service business. I know it's important for you guys because you give me an amen. I hear you.
Absolutely.
You know, so it's critically, I think it's critically important for everybody who's in business to think about that. You know, when you're telling a story, when you are presenting your information, whatever it is, you want people's attention, you want to be remembered, you got to tell them. There's no facts. There's no magic jargon. There's no I dress the part or there I am. That's just part of it. At some point, you have to deliver the performance, right? And that's just they help you deliver on the performance. I don't know where that background noise is coming from, but it's driving me crazy. Hopefully, it's not coming up on the tape. Do you all hear that?
No, I don't have any background noise.
I hear it a little bit.
All right, then it's probably it's mostly me. Are you hearing it now, Gerald?
No.
Okay, I had to turn my speakers down because the feedback is coming back into the microphone. I got it.
Gotcha.
Okay, guys, is there anything else you want to add to today's discussion about drama and how you use it in business?
Gerald, go ahead.
Like I said, I mean, the storytelling piece was the piece that stuck out the most for me. I don't really have anything else to add right at this moment.
Yeah. For me, I know, you know, it's I found value when it comes to storytelling and the fact that I've been able to align my personal aspirations with my professional aspirations. So when I do tell stories and I do bring drama, it's coming from an authentic place, right? And it helps me kind of mold the story to different audiences, right? Because you know, you got to kind of know your audience and be able to judge them, or not judge, but kind of, you know, pick up on what things are resonating and what things aren't. And you know, like you said, Marvin, the more you tell a story, you know, the more, like, the easier it comes to you, and you can easily mold that story to different communication style based on who your audience is. So if at all possible, you know, if you can bring in personal stories or stories, you know, like we talked about before, well, like you talked about, Gerald, where you're talking about one of your former clients and how your product or service has helped them. Again, I just wanted to reiterate that, try to make it a real story, and the real impact, because, the old saying, people like to do business with people that they like or people that they can relate to. So the more authentic your story is, the more relatable it is in theory, and the more people will appreciate that and like you for it. Without you having to say, hey, I'm the best, I'm this, I'm that, you should do business with me because I'm fantastic. You just sound like, an arrogant somebody, right?
Right.
So just that one piece, if you can, for me personally, it's been beneficial to kind of meld my personal and professional aspirations together as one, because I can tell those authentic stories without necessarily me being the star of the story, and making not just the customer, but the platform itself the protagonist. My platform is the protagonist, because without collaboration and community, the platform doesn't work. So no one person is more important than the other, not even the person who created it. So it just all makes sense to me, and it helps me stick to my whole mantra of the golden rule, doing more for others than I would, or loving other people as much as I love myself, at the end of the day.
So this guy right here that wrote this book, I'm gonna see if you can. I don't know if you guys can see it. I don't know if you can see. All right, this is The Actor Prepares, from Konstantin Stanislavski. It is the essential actors playbook all over the world. Actors from every particular, they read Stanislavski. And why is that? Because he teaches them how to own the role, how to be authentic in the role. That's very, very important, because when an actor can be authentic in the role, you forget that person is an actor, and you just experience what they're experiencing. The first time I saw Denzel Washington play Malcolm X, I thought, oh my God, he hit it. That's it. I forgot that he was Denzel Washington. As many times as I saw Denzel Washington perform prior to that performance, I forgot he was Denzel Washington when I saw him play Malcolm X, because I had seen so many videos of Malcolm X. I felt like I knew Malcolm X, and I could tell if somebody was portraying him differently than who he was. And so the point I'm trying to make to you is, whenever you're telling a story, I need you to think, because it doesn't become authentic because you lived it, as much as it becomes authentic because you've experienced it through your practice, through your rehearsal, through your preparation. You see, and because a story can still be authentic even if it wasn't your story. You could be representing a story that somebody else helped you pull together. Just like most actors are never acting in the role that they wrote or that is about their lives. They're acting in a role from a script that somebody else wrote. So when you think about what you want to prepare other people to receive when you say something, I want you to ask yourself a couple questions. One, what emotions do you want to elicit? Do you want them to feel the experience, the pain, the tragedy of failure, of a struggle, of agony, of confusion, to be rescued by enlightenment and success and opportunity? Well, if you want that to happen, you got to tell the story in a way that's going to make that happen, right? But if you want them to just, think about it. If you just want them to just buy your product or jump on your advisory council or be on your team or and get excited about what you're saying, there's something that has to happen before that happens. They have to feel what it's like to not have you. Right? If you want to maintain the confusion, you want to maintain the discipline, the agony, the disappointment, the whatever, that's on you. But you want them to feel like without them getting excited about what you're saying and what you're doing, you want to feel like they're like, oh, here. Like I have an opportunity to win. I have an opportunity to win like now. Or continue to be a loser. Now, again, I want you to be cautious. You know, I'm not trying to say manipulate people. Right? I know it might sound that way, right? But that's not what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to say authentically own your story. Be it that you can help other people experience what you need them to experience so they can receive the benefits that you have to offer.
Yeah, I think part of being authentic is being empathetic to other people's experiences as well, right?
Right.
Because you didn't go through it doesn't mean that you can't understand how it would feel to go through it. Certainly. So when you tell those stories and communicate those with your audience, you know, it's not being inauthentic, you know, just because you're being empathetic. It means, listen, this is a real feeling that people experience, and you know, it could help you if you're similar to, you know, the person in this story, right?
I got a perfect example. Have any of you ever seen any of the Rocky movies, even the current ones? Mm. Or you know, there's always a scene where they show a blow coming, right? And they show the guy throwing the punch, and they show it connecting with the jaw, and the jaw, you know, and you see it snap, you know, right over, and you see that? Didn't you feel that punch?
Yeah, absolutely.
And you didn't have to get hit in the face. You know, that's the point. If you tell stories correctly, people are going to feel whatever it is you need them to feel and respond to it as if they had the experience. And so it's just critically important. If you want people to stay with you, to grab their attention, you got to be able to tell great stories, and you got to be able to do it in a way that people go, oh wow, I want more of that. Can you give me some? I want all my friends to know about that. You know, I can't keep it to myself. I'm coming back to the next show. You know, I was a kid when Purple Rain came out. Now, we'll say it was a sign of the times, right? Literally a sign of the times. But I saw that show maybe 26 times in the summer. And that was a time when you had to go to the theater to see the show. There was no streaming. You know, there was no Disney broadcast. There was none of that. I had to literally figure out a way to take my little McDonald's paycheck, put gas in my car, and take my girlfriend, who's now my wife, to the movie theater. Right? Now, for people my age who remember those stories at that time period, they're going to remember how they had to do the same thing to go see E.T., Superman, all the big movies of our day required an effort. We had to rally the parent support. We had to get our kids in the neighborhood together. We had to figure out whose parent was going to take us and present the case to all of our parents so that, you know, all of us could go, oh, you know, we're going to go see Superman. They're going to say, our parents going to say, you saw that last week. We're going to see it again. When the stories are that compelling, you'll go the extra mile for it. That's the point I'm trying to make. You know, when it's that compelling and that engaging for you, then people will do what you ask them to do, what you want them to do. But you got to be willing to put the work in to making a great story. If not, you start, I'm going to tell a story and shoot from the hip. Not going to work. You got to write your script out. You got to memorize it and then throw it away and make it your own and perform. That's how that works. Okay, guys, I had a great time. Hope you did as well. Is there anything parting that you want people to hear or think about, whatever it is you're saying or doing in your world? Because I don't have any questions from the audience. I'm looking at the chat. I don't have any questions out there. And so I'm going to assume they loved it as much as we did.
Absolutely.
Is anything you guys want to say? You want to say? Share?
For me, just, you know, if you're, like I said, one of the 109 million renters in America, just shoot me an email. I'm not trying to sell you anything. In fact, I'm trying to give you some stuff for free. So, my contact information, you can find it in the chat. Shoot me an email. And, what's more powerful than, me going to your landlords on your behalf saying, hey, you should probably do something to help out your tenants, is 100,000, 200, 1 million tenants saying, hey, if you want me to be your customer, you better be a part of this platform, because that's where I'm going for my next lease. I'm going to rent for one of them. So shoot me an email. It's powerful. Let's collectively, raise our voices and make sure that you get the help that you deserve. Not even necessarily help, but just the finance. I mean, you're helping them be successful, so you should be rewarded for that. So shoot me an email.
Outstanding. Gerald, anything you want to share?
Absolutely. Just like I said at the top of the live, pretty much is, if you like a Black coach, consultant, course creator, office services like in the financial services space, a digital marketing agency, what have you, and you just looking to generate more appointments on a weekly basis on the internet, be able to grow your business to that $20,000 to $50,000 a month plus on the internet. We have the link to a case study that I actually have. It's free case study. I'll walk you through how you can do that, pretty much.
Outstanding. So guys, I don't want you to go anywhere. I'm going to sit you backstage for a little bit, but I'm going to bring you back when I close out the show. I want to talk to you both. I got some exciting things to talk to you about, and just hold on just a second, okay?
Okay.
All right, guys. I hope you had a good time. I know I did. What a fantastic show. Aren't those two of the finest Americans you have ever seen? I got to tell you, if you get a chance to play with them, and you should get a chance to play with them, definitely reach out, definitely call them, definitely hit us up in the chat. If you haven't already joined the show or haven't joined us on Facebook, LinkedIn, or YouTube, go ahead and do that, man. Don't keep us a secret. Share it for everybody that you can, because we're trying to create an entrepreneur revolution. We're trying to create a space and a place for entrepreneurs to come together, feel safe, get ideas, generate new opportunities, and just create deal flow. If we can do that, then, everything I've worked for, everything I do in my life will not be in vain. Oh, by the way, here's something opportunity coming up. For those of you who don't know, I've just been recently elected the Bigger and Better Business Chairman of my chapter. What that means is my chapter, Phi Beta Sigma, we work on economic empowerment, and that's critically important for us. And I'll be doing a lot of workshops, a lot of training, helping the individuals in my neighborhood, in my community, to really figure out what they can do. Even if you have a micro business, we want you to pay attention. If there's a question, if there's something that you think you might need, definitely hit me up. My emails, everything, my contact information is scrolling through the chat right now, or scrolling on the screen right now. So you should be able to see all that stuff. But if you need something, if you're thinking about something, you want to share something, hit me up. If I can help you out in some kind of way, if I could answer a question for you, or if I could, even bring you on the show, I'd love to do it. I'd love to do it. If you got an idea, let's share it. Let's do what we can to uplift as many entrepreneurs or small businesses as we possibly can. And I need your help to do so. So again, don't keep us a secret. Let's keep the party going, and we look forward to seeing you next time.